Oh no, I'm going to interrupt for a moment for a similar flashback and image. Rooker's ass.
Ugh.
Naked Rooker ass. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I had to.
My favorite line in that movie is, "Oh God, she calls you callow in here." Yeah, you say that like it's a bad thing. Well, it means frightened and weak-willed. Oh, I fucking love that.
That's the only part of the letter I thought was complimentary.
Yes, that's the only part of the letter I thought was complimentary.
Like
Yeah.
I love Dogma. I love Chasing Amy. Obviously fantastic. But honestly, at the end of the day, if this is a desert island option, Mallrats every fucking
Yeah.
time.
Mallrats is the one that, like, you know, it's one of those things. The first time I ever watched, excuse me, the first time I ever watched Mallrats was with my grandma, and she loved it. And I think that, you know, you can talk about, like, studio interference and how they wanted, like, a modern day Porky's and blah blah blah, but I do think that compared to some of his other films, Mallrats may be the most accessible of Kevin Smith's movies.
Especially now, it's a film that only gets better with time as
Yeah.
the audience is more familiar with what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
I do wish they'd gone with the original opening where it seems like he tried to assassinate the governor, but but that's just, you know, whatever. Anyway, hello and welcome to the 7th episode of How Marvelous, this show we're doing about Marvel's classic series What If. So,
Hello, I am Max.
And also the hello, I am Mikki.
and also, hi, hello, how you doing? I'm JR. How's it going?
Oh, it goes.
I
Trying-
haven't suffered any fatal, debilitating viral infection since the last episode we recorded 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. I had one, but it cleared up. So,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. Anyway, this week we are talking about Volume 1, Number 7 of What If. What if someone else besides Spider-Man had been bitten by the radioactive spider? And this issue is written by Don Glutt, penciled by Rick Hoberg, inked by Sam Granger, colored by George Russos, lettered by Rick Parker, and edited by Roy Thomas. And this is the first of what If did a few times early on, wherein they would have a basic premise, and then they would do several stories based on that premise.
I like to think that this grew less out of inspiration and more over a bullpen argument. Whereas originally the story was probably, hey, what if Flash Thompson became the Spider-Man? And people went, yeah. And someone went, how far can we actually take that?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. What if Mary Jane Parker became Spider? Yeah. Oh, wait, how far can we take that? And the end result is this, where they just went, I don't care. Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. So the three stories involve Flash Thompson, as was said, Betty Brant, and John Jameson. And in each version, somebody else was at the science exhibition Peter went to originally. and wound up being bitten by the radioactive spider. In the first version, Flash becomes Spider-Man, and then winds up dying in battle against the Vulture, where he is found and unmasked by Peter Parker. In the second story, Peter Parker finds out that Betty Brant was bitten and helps her become Spider-Woman, including building her web shooters. However, she is so freaked out over her super strength that she's unwilling to use it, and her career as Spider-Woman is short-lived because she's just not cut out for it, is the way we're meant to take this.
Yeah.
And then the third story is John Jameson gets bitten by the spider. He is then... His fledgling career is then nurtured by Jonah. But then in rescuing the space capsule that is sabotaged by the chameleon, he winds up being crushed by it and dying. And in all three of these stories, Peter Parker finds and saves the spider, studies its venom, and winds up becoming Spider-Man anyway.
Which is probably the thing I want to poke you, the bear, on. Is because it seems to fly...
I have things to say about that.
It seems to fly in the face of probably your favorite Spider-Man movie. And the message thereof.
Because
wait, is it Amazing Spider-Man 1?
Yes. That's his favorite Spider-Man.
Into the Spider-Verse, so in 2018 or 2019? I don't know. Time is weird now.
18, I believe.
Whenever Into the Spider-Verse came out, the message we got, the movie literally ends with, anyone could wear the mask. You could wear the mask. And then, like, in the 70s, what we got was, no, only this one guy can wear the mask. If literally anyone else tries, they will fail and they will probably die. This is categorically fated to be. It is Peter Parker or nothing. And I don't know. It's an interesting contrast to look at 1978 versus 40 years later, and it's just like, nope, only Peter Parker. And now it's just like, I don't know, fucking whoever. Like, you want to be Spider-Man? Be Spider-Man. I don't give a shit.
Right? I mean, I'm kind of disappointed in this issue for not including JJ himself at some point. And just like, I could be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Am I a menace?
Yeah. I don't know. This issue shows a little more creativity than the last one, simply by virtue of it's interesting to see how different people would have approached being a spider person.
Right. That's the only thing about this issue that's actually like intriguing to me, whether or not the payoff works, because
right.
It's about, like, I'm gonna catch shit for this, but I've always said, and well, no, not always said it, but when I was 20 and very...
You're going to say it
I'm
right
gonna
now.
say it now. But when I was 20 and very dumb, my opinion between the big two was that Marvel was about the people and DC seemed to be about the powers. I realize that's short-sighted, but this, like, What If is showing a very, like, clear delineation. last week when we were talking about what if the Fantastic Four had different powers, it didn't inform their personality, and the personality didn't inform the powers. Like
Right.
this actually does say, like, how does that person's personality actually inform what they would do as a character if they were given the powers, and that's mostly successful. Um,
Yeah.
the end is
Yeah.
kind of gross, or not gross, but a little bungled. But like the the how does that person's personality actually affect what they would do if they have the if they had these powers? That for the most part works.
Yeah. I would love to see. How do I put this? On the one hand, I wish this had come out later. Um, because I think it would have been interesting to see. So there were glimpses of interesting design in terms of the costumes. Um, because, like, John Jameson wears a helmet and has a jetpack as Spider-Man, whereas Flash has, like, a little mini cape, and Betty Brant's version seems to mostly be tits, tits, tits.
Yeah.
But they're all still working with the red and blue color scheme and the webs and stuff like that. Things have progressed to the point now where, like, different spider people have completely different looks, and you have, like, Ghost Spider, who's got, like, the all white with, like, the purple and the, and stuff like that. And so I think were it to be done later, where people could have had more freedom in what they did with the costumes, it could have been a lot more fun.
And that's actually the highlight of the Betty Brant section, is that when she's putting together her costume, she's like, tee hee, I would never actually wear anything like this in public. But it's like, Betty, Betty, you got some exhibitionist in you, don't you? You're Betty. You're way more fun than I'm giving Grant or would have given you credence. Um,
You put a freaky form fitting mask on her and she's good to
Right.
go.
Yeah. This is so I've been watching with Moira the Spider-Man Raimi trilogy, wherein Betty Brant is played by Elizabeth Smart. And I'm like, so rereading that for this, or rereading this issue for this episode, it was just kind of like, that's what was going through my head as I was reading the Betty Brant section. And I'm like, yeah, all right. I can get with that.
The cool
Banks,
thing is
not
with
Elizabeth
Sam.
Smart. Elizabeth Smart was the girl who was kidnapped.
But like with the cool thing of Sam Raimi now doing Multiverse of Madness is you might actually get to see that. Like, no way in hell are they getting Tobey Maguire to come back. I sincerely don't believe that. I don't think Tobey Maguire likes any of this. But you could definitely get Elizabeth Smart to come back.
Well,
or Elizabeth Banks.
I got you doing
Wait,
it.
Elizabeth Taylor, CGI'd as she was when she was 20, in a Spider-Man costume, as voiced by Putty from Seinfeld.
Okay.
You're welcome.
The thing about it is, like, I don't even know. I was looking at it because my wife asked me what Tobey Maguire has done lately. And literally the last movie he was in was Boss Baby, which was 2017. So,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
To be fair, I thought the last thing he was in was well before that. So kudos to him for being in Boss Baby. apparently.
Whatever. The height of his
Wasn't that the
career,
Kevin Spacey one?
The height of his career will always be, for me, Pleasantville. Wherein
Ooh, yeah, that's a good film.
I enjoy Pleasantville because it's basically Invasion of the Body Snatchers from the perspective of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, it's a fantastic, witty, clever, very smartly done film that loves film and television and the concepts of those media. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And of course completely forgotten by most audiences.
Yeah. But yeah, I love it because it seems incredibly progressive when viewed from the standpoint of the teenagers who are who are now taking over this small suburban whatever. But from the perspective of the people who live in that town, yeah, it's gotta be fucking terrifying. So, anyway.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk
well,
about
like,
Pleasantville
it's
for
like,
the rest of the episode.
I so want to is the thing. I mean, it's essentially the same reason why people love Lovecraft these days. Because it's not that anyone's scared of Lovecraft. It's that you're just like, yeah, Cthulhu's fucking cool. Unknowable, shapeless terror that if you look upon, you'll be, you'll go insane. No, I want to get drunk with that asshole.
I hate the Lovecraft fandom. Like, I hate it. I do. Because it's like, if there were an Olympic medal for missing the point, and I mean, admittedly, the point is coming from a racist, agoraphobe? What is it when you don't go outside?
Agoraphobe, racist, xenophobe. Yeah, it's agoraphobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, like...
Oh, and I just like the fact that he was so terrified of things that it's kind of doubled back around, and now it's like it's not only hilarious, but it's this great point of like, yeah, that is kind of cool that the scary things win. Why? I'm a scary thing.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I do love the idea that Lovecraft almost seems quaint now. That, like, you look at Lovecraft, and the entire point of Lovecraft is challenging man's own self-importance, when literally all you have to do is get on the internet and be reminded, oh yeah, humanity is shit. It's always been shit. Like... Whatever.
You look at this issue and go, oh yeah, we have always been shit. Look at this shitty issue.
Yeah. Anyway, so overall, what do you all think? Forgetting about
God.
Pleasantville and Lovecraft.
So I'm going to go on a very slight additional tangent to make my point. So I've been recently rewatching HBO's From the Earth to the Moon from like the late 90s.
Yeah.
Classic miniseries, fantastic. The effects oddly hold up really well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool, really well done. And all I want when rereading this is by the time they get to the part where the Gemini or Mercury capsule lands on and crushes Jonah, I want that episode of From the Earth to the Moon where it's a completely unrelated space mission and then they land and kill Spider-Man. And that's how it ends. Houston, I think I killed Spider-Man.
Spider-Man saved my life, but also died.
That's
I'm
my
very
rating.
traumatized.
Yeah.
How the fuck do we make this into an episode?
I'm already
God damn it.
a early '60s astronaut, and feelings aren't really my strong suit. So, but I definitely I killed a national hero today, and I need to talk to someone about it.
Oh, and it turned out he was also one of my coworkers. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to know him. Shit.
I'm in trouble with HR.
My overall on this one is this issue of comics is yeah, give it a look. Um, I don't like the Jameson story as much as the other two, but the first two are worth checking out just to maybe try to understand those. They're okay. So the Flash one's a little caricature-y. I guess I just like the Betty Brant one, and it yeah, I don't know. I'd say give it a try. I'm willing to be wrong.
I also say if if you're interested in giving this issue a try, especially try and see if you can get the $1 Super Sea Monkeys. Send that shit in and see if anyone gets it.
There you go. Yeah.
Why not? My thing with this issue is the point at which it came out makes it, I think, seem better than it is. We are not really we are not really at the point where What If has found its legs, as it were. And so
Well, as shown by the B story, that is a ridiculous cartoon that I just don't want to get into. It looks like Fred Hembeck, but it's not.
Yeah.
And so that greatly annoys me.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause it is, it's What If... No, it's, Thor in the Dingaling Family. Is that it?
No, that I think is more the mid-break advert. This is more like some truly stupid fake What If, like What If, but involving barnyard animals.
Right. Yeah. I saw.
X-rated shit.
Yeah, I saw that. I remember that.
Well, the next issue has What If the spider had been bitten by a radioactive human.
Right, yeah, an equally stupid thing.
Yeah. J. Jonah jackass and shit. Yeah, it's whatever.
Like, no, I will say J. Jonah Jackass is one of the greatest creations of Western culture.
But so I think that the point at which this came out did it a great deal of service, because if it had come out later, it would have been viewed as worse just because there were better What If stories. But
Yeah.
because it's early enough that that they hadn't really figured out what they were doing with this series, it appears better than it actually is. I think the big problem right now, and this goes back to the thing I was saying about, Spider-Verse versus this, is that What If at this point in time is more about reinforcing the 616 than in subverting it. So we get the issues where it's just like, let's shore up a bit of continuity. And we get the issues that are like, well, what if this slightly different thing had happened? And, oh, well, who cares? And this, where it's just, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. That's all there is to it. It is meant to be. So, it's fine. It's worth checking out to kind of see some playing around with what would eventually become the quote-unquote Spider-Verse. But it's by no means one of the standout issues of the series. So yeah. Join us next time when we will be talking about what if the world knew that Daredevil is blind.
Wait, he's blind?
I hate to break it to you. I don't know if you missed the several seasons of the Netflix series or the weird stalkery Ben Affleck movie. Or
Well, no. This only gives me hope because it means that in a universe where Matt Murdock is real, he didn't have to sit through that fucking horrible film.
That's true. That's true.
He did have to hear the soundtrack, though. I hope he really digs Evanescence.
I imagine he went through that period, where he was just like, he was digging on some like Linkin Park and some evidence.
It was the
Just
early.
Like,
We all lived through the early 2000s.
Why does no one understand?
The feelings.
Okay, so anyway, join us next time for whatever the fuck that was. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.